on to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to my instant match reaction to Everton 1, Southampton 1, Everton labour to a 1-1 draw at home in what was another dreadful performance. Let's not sugarcoat it. We were lucky to get that draw at the end of the day. I mean, Richarlison cancelled out a Danny Ings goal. Both of those were in the first half. And then it was pretty much a non-entity of a second half to see us over the line. It's another point on the board. And that's about the most positive thing you can say about this game, because we were absolutely abysmal, particularly in the first half. Southampton absolutely battered us. They were all over us. They just kept cutting through us like a knife through butter. The midfield was non-existent. Andre Gomez was horrific. He got injured and had to go off. Was replaced by Gylfi Sigurdsson, so he was the lesser of two evils there. And that's saying something, because Gylfi Sigurdsson was actually better than Gomez. Not by much, but slightly better. And I'm saying that because at least Andre Gomez, before he went off, he gave away a penalty, which Southampton actually missed. But then they scored anyway about 5 minutes later, so it didn't end up mattering. Then Gomez goes off, Sigurdsson comes on. I think we got a little bit more control at that point, and then we got a goal, which our first half performance in general didn't warrant at all, but it was a good goal. Luca Dean plays a great diagonal. It was one of the few times we did that, and the times we did that, we actually had some joy, but we didn't do it anywhere near enough. I think we've done it about 3 or 4 times and came close. And the one time it came off was when Luca Dean pinged this ball over the shoulder of the defenders. Richarlison runs onto it, good first touch, and a really nice little dink finish as well on the volley. It was a really, really nice goal. And that was as good as it got for Everton, because, like I say, we were absolutely awful. Anthony Gordon was decent again. Luca Dean was good. Michael Keane was pretty solid again. Other than that, it was pretty poor. Andre Gomez was certainly the worst player on the pitch for me today. I think the Southampton players swarmed over him and he couldn't handle it. Tom Davies, again, wasn't great. Better than Gomez, but not by much. Again, what's it going to take for Benny Beningame to get a chance in this team? Because he can't possibly do worse than this. It's absolutely abysmal for a Premier League team to show so little energy in the midfield. And we're just going to constantly be overrun by the opposition, be dominated by the opposition, until we get some midfielders in who can take hold of the game and control a ball and win a tackle, put a tackle in even. Some of them don't even bother with that. And we were just lucky that we had that one moment of magic there from Dean and Richarlison to get us a point that we most certainly did not deserve. We had a bit more of a go second half, but again, wasn't enough to threaten the goal. Calvert-Lewin spurned a decent chance. And that's about it, really, as far as Everton attacks are concerned. Southampton threw a few chances at us, but again, even they didn't really threaten us much in the second half. I think, again, Ancelotti put in a bit of a tactical change, which did shore us up defensively, but it was never going to be enough to improve the midfield performance, which was continued to be pretty poor. It's just a typical. It was exactly what I feared Everton would play like behind closed doors, without the fans behind them. I worried a lot that Everton would play in a very disinterested manner without the fans, and in the last 2 games it's certainly come to pass. They haven't shown the slightest bit of interest. It shows that these players aren't motivated enough to help us kick on in the future. This season, as we know, is already a write-off, but moving into next season and beyond, a lot of these players haven't got the professional motivation to want to succeed and to help Everton succeed, and those players need to be bombed out ASAP. And on top of that, I think we just need some play, even if they don't always have to be world beaters of players. They just need to work hard, and that's the bare minimum. and they can't be bothered doing that. It's just sickening to watch. We're the least motivated team in the league. It's just so difficult to take. It's every team seems to want the ball more than we do. Every team seems to want to win more than we do. There's no motivation in this team, and I think we got a couple of wins at the start of the resumed period of the season. With the Leicester win and the Norwich win, and then people are going, this is easy. Maybe we're better without the fans. No, we are absolutely not better without the fans. The fans are the only reason that we got out of the mire in the first place that we were in December, because without the fans behind them, these players haven't got the slightest bit of professional standards. They haven't got any motivation without the fans roaring them on. And a lot of the time, it's not always pleasant what you hear from the stands at Goodison, but I think the fans now, you can see why the fans are so frustrated a lot of the time with these players, because they just aren't bothered. And this was just another, I don't know, it's like exhibit X, Y, or Z by now, the amount of games we've seen where players have just put in really half-hearted performances, and it's not good enough. So yeah, Southampton, the goal came from Danny Ings, just sort of sole pick for the dummy and made him look like an absolute idiot. And it was a good, decent little trick from Ings, and it was a good goal. Bad for us to concede, though. We got in too easily. Andre Gomez, like I say, gave away a penalty which Southampton missed as well. That was all before Richarlison equalised. And as far as actually interest and action goes, that was about it, because there was only 2 added minutes at the end of the second half, which is, I think, when you see so few added minutes at the end of a second half in the Premier League these days, I think it just hammers home how boring a game it was. And it's a game that, thankfully, we didn't lose, but we most certainly didn't deserve to win. And it's one of those games that we move on to Wolves, where we'll probably get spanked because they're a much better team than we are at present. You're just going to have to suck that up, because it's true. And thankfully, what that does mean is that I can get this game out of my head as quickly as possible. It's about as forgettable a game as I can remember. And that's about it, really. Let us know how you feel about that game, because I feel a state of complete inertia about that game. It's not made me angry as such. It's not made me sad. It's definitely not made me happy, obviously. But it's just hard to feel anything. It was one of those completely disinterested displays that's left me feeling a little bit disinterested. But yeah, let us know how you feel anyway. Drop us a comment, give this video a like, and subscribe to the Toffee Blues as well. And until next time, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you later.